Have you ever wondered why the top 100% of the players are impossible to defeat, especially landing hits on them? It's like they've got a magical aura around them, giving them an advantage. But I managed to crack the code by analyzing the best of the best players, and today I'm going to reveal their secrets to you. So 6 months ago, I just started playing the Strongest Battlegrounds and had poor knowledge on the game. No matter how much I practiced with the dummy, I would always lose to players in public lobbies, and I don't know why. I searched online and there weren't any good tutorials on how I could improve my playstyle, so I almost was about to give up on this game. But then I fought a 50,000 kills player. He had godlike skills and was extremely difficult to hit. I mostly blamed it on my low skills for losing and missing side dashes, but then I realized he had far superior movement compared to me, which gave him an advantage in hitting side dashes, dodging them, and overall unpredictability. I found my solution to the problem and started imitating his playstyle to my gameplay, and shockingly enough, I started winning fights. At last, after 6 months of playing, I still value movement as the second greatest strength the player could have, right behind adaptability. So how can you master movement and reach the next level? Or can you even master it? It's not something like techs or combos where the more time you invest equals to greater results. No, movement is completely different of a topic that deserves a video on its own, and nobody in the game has created a proper one on it. So put this video in full screen and with all of your focus, master movement to never lose again. Now, what is movement? Is it your ability to play strategically to bait your opponent, or being in a state of adapting to any move? To understand it, we have to go back 4 months. Movement in this game was a complex topic for me to decode. I couldn't even understand what a lot of the pros did while watching their gameplay until I started experimenting myself. I tried different tactics which sometimes gave me a great results and other times led me to dying streaks. It was all going great. I discovered mechanics to improve my gameplay, but then I met someone that changed me forever. In my life, I didn't believe in autism and brain rot until I met this Sonic user, Alibaba 257. He would always use all of his moves on me, and once they're in cooldown, run away. I was never able to catch him when he ran away and was barely being able to block his moves. After a severe defeat, I realized movement is not a single topic. It's comprised of 3 sub-levels, being unpredictability, dashing, and defense. By mastering these topics, one could level up and reach a new stage, bringing them closer to the best there is. Now that you know of my emotional backstory of meeting a Sonic user, let's cover what we could learn from this. Imagine you're the best player there is, and your combo and techs allow you to win any fight. Life was going great for you until you met someone called the Final Wall. He was a peak of defense anyone could even imagine of reaching. Every time you try to M1 him, he would either block and counter attack or just catch your M1s using his. He was the literal definition of him. Defense is an odd subject for movement, but without great defense, you'll fall behind everyone. So how could a normal person like me with below average intelligence and knowledge about the game figure it out? Well, if you're watching this video, then it means I've already figured it out. Do you remember that person I called the Final Wall I mentioned just a second ago? We can learn a lot from him, starting with his flawless blocking. To be able to block for front dashes and any other side dash, you need great finger reflexes and reaction time. But in this channel, we like to reach a different level, a level where no one is capable of surpassing us. Instead of using my index finger for blocking, I adapted and invented a whole new keyboard grip style. Ever wondered if it would be possible for you to block without using your index finger so that you wouldn't have to constantly flick back and forward? Wouldn't that be a luxury you'd love to have? Sadly, we don't have 6 fingers, but with the Kaiser grip style, you can achieve that. What I do always is that I place my thumb on the blocking key, which is F, allowing me to give my full focus on small movements and other aspects, while my thumb is responsible for blocking only. By removing the need of flicking, I increase my blocking speed by more than 50%. And as for jumping, I use my bottom layer bone of my thumb, and it works fine. But what if your enemy is using hook dashes and distancing himself always before being countered? How could you possibly deal with that, and is there even a solution? Well, we'll need to go back to our boy Final Wall for advice on this, or else we'll never be able to counter aggressive players with hook dashes. But before that, it's essential you have private server plus, so you would be able to practice with no dashing cooldowns for the next step. And if you're unable to buy it due to the monstrous price for it, do not fear, my friends. Soon I'll be hosting a private server plus giveaway. Just subscribe to my channel and like this video for now to be entered. Oh look, Final Wall has finally given me a response on countering them. The key of doing this technique is evolving your reflexes and vision on a fundamental level. Without a great amount of focus, it will only lead you to loss. I'm talking none other than M1 catching. This is where you purposefully wait for a perfect moment to let your enemy dash to you to get M1 catched. As they are dashing to M1 you counter M1 in their direction to flawlessly catch them. A few months ago, I fell victim to a M1 catcher. They were so good that they were able to catch any one of my dashes, and I would always lose to them. My M1 catching weakness still remains, but I've been innovating new tactics like block dashing, where I side dash while blocking to let them M1 and then counter M1. To master M1 catching, you could ask a friend to practice with you in a private server or play real games on public lobbies. But what's the point of playing passive blocking if your enemy is too scared to attack? Do you just give up and try to land hits with your poor side dashes? There's nothing to fear, because next we are going to cover mastery of dashing and movement. For fluid movement, one must learn the basics of side dashes to a fundamental level. Instead of watching countless tutorials and gathering knowledge on dashing, go to a game and practice. This had happened to me a few months back as well. I'd just watch tutorials on dashing, get distracted and switch to another video, then hop on in game and try it out without any additional practice or work. It's your choice to remain in the bottom of the list. For you bottom listers, I've created a whole video dedicated to perfecting your dashing. I'd suggest you check that video out and implement those ideas. 99% of you won't do any of these tips and remain as a laughing stock for people who actually work hard. But before checking out my dashing perfection guide, I've stumbled across a front dashing technique to catch your enemy flawlessly. Credit goes to Tenjin for making an awesome tutorial on it. By angling your position to your enemy's shoulder level, if you were to front dash straight, it will catch them. The only way to counter this is to block to the side where it is turned and then block behind you as the person's dashing moves on. Mastering this front dash technique and watching my tutorial on perfect dashes will get you to a level you have never seen before and level up on every aspect of your movement. But what's the point of blocking and dashing if you're extremely predictable? This is the part of the video where I'll differ with you. There is no point of mastering dashes and blocking if you play like a bot. The best chess player of all time, Bobby Fischer, says this: tactics follow from superior positions. If you're playing like a bot, as predictable as one-sided half-baked NPCs, then there is no hope for you. That's why I'm the only person who can fix this issue for you. Have you ever wondered why UFC fighters are constantly moving side to side instead of straight to the enemy? Because if you're constantly running forward, sooner or later you'll reach their range of being attacked. That's why instead of going straight in, they move side to side, strafing to get closer. Once they're in their attacking range, they attack and they move back afterwards. If you were to tell me this 6 months ago while I started playing TSP and suggest me to strafe around, I'd firstly ask you how you know me and secondly tell you to get lost. So how do you strafe? Strafing means going side to side to be unpredictable. Tenjin, again the goat of TSP, made a great guide on strafing. Mainly you change your camera angle and move in one direction, then abruptly switch to the other side, following a rhythm and strategically playing fluid to make your enemy miss more of their dashes. I've already provided crystal clear gameplay of how it may look, so watch it with all of your focus. Unpredictability is not just limited to strafing side to side. You mustn't do it often because then it will be easier for your enemy to catch you. But is there any way for your enemy to lose focus of you and keep them in a grip of constant fear? Well, of course. Constantly jumping. By jumping and performing a side dash, it will make you way more unpredictable, giving your enemy less time for defense. And also by constantly jumping, it keeps your enemy on edge 24/7 because they would never be able to know when you may attack. Tenjin has already covered how strafing may look like, but I just wouldn't allow myself to steal his idea. So I improvised and invented a new style of my own. This style of strafing makes you extremely unpredictable. When I'm out of their side dash range, I'll flick my camera left and right to a 90 degrees angles so that they wouldn't be able to figure out where I may attack from, left or right. Once I'm near, I could perform one of my attacks. It looks extremely goofy on your enemy's POV, but also doesn't give them a chance to think what you may do next. You must think many steps ahead and anticipate moves, or else you'll remain the same. But what's the point of great movement if you can't combo or hit any of the techs? Practicing movement with Garo or Saitama is the best for beginners and even intermediate players, so it's crucial to master their combos and tech. That's why you must watch one of these videos on screen to master their techs, or you'll lag behind with the 99% who won't even give it a try to improve.